Hello friends, looking at current affairs for 6th May. The news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 11. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, government arms RBI to crack down on bank NPAs. So this is a very important news which has come up today. We have discussed this earlier too. The government had hinted that they are going to move an ordinance to empower the RBI to look into NPAs issue, non-performing assets issue. So this has been done now. The ordinance has been signed off by the president. What is an ordinance? You should know. So this is a law-making route. Laws are made by the legislature. The government is the executive. So legislature is the parliament. So ordinance is a tool given in the hands of the executive to make a law when it is urgently needed. So this ordinance is the executive way of enforcing a law. So this Banking Regulation Act of 1949 has been amended by this ordinance. An ordinance can be promulgated. The term issuing is not the right term, but the ordinance term in constitution is promulgation of an ordinance, means issuing. So the ordinance is promulgated by the president and it can be done only when the parliament is not in session. When the two houses are in session, then ordinance cannot be promulgated. So then it has to use the legislative route. So this is the case. So here Banking Regulation Act of 1949 has been amended to give more powers to the RBI. So this section 35AA has been provided for. So now RBI can initiate solvency and bankruptcy proceedings in relation to stressed assets. What are stressed assets? We have discussed that earlier too. NPAs plus restructured assets plus write-offs. So this has already been discussed 2 days back. So this is the news here. So now what powers have been given to the RBI, we'll see. So one case is regarding the RBI. It can issue specific directions including formation of oversight committees. So these oversight committees are important to resolve bad loans problem, because when there are stressed assets, what needs to be done is that restructuring of assets if possible should be done. So always to make this asset viable, means the loans which the banks have provided become viable, steps have to be taken. So in some cases there may be more loan required because a company which has taken a loan, the amount is short, so there's a viability gap funding as it is called. So some more loan may be provided so that it can become viable and it can repay the loans as well. Then there can be a case of some that can be converted into equity, in the company to which the loan has been given. So such steps are required. So when banks take up such measures, there is a fear of investigating agencies inquiring into such actions and decisions of the banks, and they fearing vigilance bodies actions. So that is why, means fearing that there may be corruption or some such act involved. So that is why they are not proactive in taking such steps to tackle stressed assets. So that is why oversight committees are established. So this gives a cushion to the banks also, that they would be safeguarded. There would not be any investigative agency looming over them. So this oversight committees can be set up. One provision in which this is allowed presently is S4A scheme. So this S4A scheme is scheme for sustainable structuring of stressed assets. What is this specifically about? We'll see that too. So this oversight committee mechanism is there only in this scheme presently. So by this ordinance now, what is provided is RBI can issue specific directions including formation of oversight committees otherwise to resolve bad loans. So this power has been given to RBI now. So this will provide more comfort to the banks to take such decisions to tackle stressed assets. Also another aspect is with respect to joint lenders forum. So this joint lenders forum is also formed. This was also a recent initiative to tackle bad loans. So what happens is that a company may have taken loans not just from one bank but from multiple sources. So all these lenders, these banks come together and a joint lender forum can be formed. So this is the initiative taken to resolve the case. So this here again in joint lenders forum also it takes a lot of time and it's a huge process and delays are there because all banks do not come on the same page to tackle the bad loan issue. So now in this ordinance the RBI has been empowered to take steps in this regard too, and the RBI after this ordinance has announced that lenders must adhere to the timelines which have been provided in the joint lenders forum framework and finalize the implementation of CAP, that is corrective action plan, which is provided by the joint lenders forum, else penalties will also be imposed on the banks. So this has also come forth from the RBI. So this is there. Also, capital infusion is done for public sector banks. As we already, you should know that NPA's issue is major problem for public sector banks. It means a huge chunk of it is with public sector banks than with private banks. So for public sector banks, capital infusion is done by the government. Government provides a capital so that, as we have already done in written off loans, in case of stressed assets. So please refer to that 4th May video in which we have discussed about what is stressed assets, non-performing assets, restructured assets, and write-offs. So in write-offs, it is done through bank capitalization given by the government to these public sector banks. So here also government has said that this fresh capital will be provided to public sector banks provided they commit to reform their own operations. If there are unviable branches of the bank too, they have to be closed. So unprofitable branches closed. Such steps need to be taken to improve their own balance sheet position, and then government may also provide them capital. Infusion can be done. So this is also a statement coming from the government. So this presently how RBI has been empowered with respect to Joint Lenders Forum too, you can see. So earlier at the Joint Lenders Forum, a decision for the corrective action plan, which has been decided by the Joint Lenders Forum, this decision can be taken when it is agreed to by at least 75% of the creditors by value and 60% of the creditors by number. So this rule now has been changed by this ordinance. Now decision has to be agreed to by minimum of 60% of the creditors by value and 50% creditors by number at the Joint Lenders Forum. Decision of this forum will be binding on all members, and no bank board will have the power to overrule it. This has been provided, and banks will have to implement the agreed plan without any additional conditions. And those who do not support the majority decision will be given time to exit from the group now. So this is being done presently. And again, as we saw, the RBI said non-adherence to the instructions and the timelines under the framework shall attract monetary penalties from the borrowers. Then next is, this is regarding the Joint Lenders Forum mechanism. It was set up in 2014. So you can see that this has been done because before an NPA, non-performing asset generates, steps need to be taken to ensure that it does not become an NPA. So this you can see, special mention account is categorized 0, 1 and 2 depending on how long the overdue is. So overdue is less than 30 days. Then it is sign of stress that dues were there. So it was supposed to be paid by particular date. Now it is extending, so means it is less than 30 days, still only not more than 30 days have been gone ahead. So that is overdue is less than 30 days. If the principal and interest amount is overdue between 31 to 60 days, then it is SMA 2. So SMA 1, SMA 2 when it is overdue 61 to 90 days. So after 90 days, it becomes a non-performing asset. So this 3 categorization is also done. As we have already discussed, if the principal amount part or even the interest payment has not come for more than 90 days, then it becomes a non-performing asset. So these are 3 categorizations before that only. So this was provided, and a compulsory formation of Joint Lenders Forum mechanism was provided for SMA 2. So this category. To ensure that the banking system recognizes financial distress early and takes prompt action to resolve it. So this was the initiative. And the S4A scheme, which we saw, scheme for strategic structuring of stressed assets. So this is a scheme under which banks can convert a part of the loan into equity. So this means that a part of the scheme loan becomes equity, means if the company has been provided a loan, so the debt which it owes, it's not able to repay. So then if a part of it becomes equity, so the banks have a stake in the company. So if the company makes profits, the banks will also benefit, and the debt burden is also reduced. So this was the purpose, but the remaining loan amount shall remain. It cannot, the part cannot be changed. So a part of it can only become equity. Also, RBI had instructed that the structuring of stressed assets should happen in such a way that if the companies make unexpected gains, then the repayment should also be accelerated. It should be quickened. So this was the S4A scheme. Next is Supreme Court upholds death in Nirbhaya case. So this is regarding the brutal Nirbhaya gang rape case which took place in Delhi in Munirka region in December 2012. This shook the entire nation, and also we made very stringent anti-rape laws post that. The 6 people who were involved here, one of them was a juvenile. So the Juvenile Justice Board sentenced him as such, and he is now presently free. The main accused here committed suicide in 2013 in Tihar jail. The other 4 convicts they were convicted by Delhi High Court and they were awarded death sentence. And here the Supreme Court was now looking into the matter. The Delhi High Court had awarded the death sentence. Now the result has come. The Supreme Court has also confirmed the death sentence for all 4 convicts. So this is the Supreme Court verdict now. This was a brutal incident in which iron rods were inserted into the young girl and this shattered her intestines. She struggled for survival and eventually died in a Singapore hospital. Even then, she had, at that time too, she had recognized the accused here. So she had, through even sign language, she had recognized them. Even after this brutal incident, these accused, they left the victim and her companion naked on a cold winter night out on the road. So this was the case. So Supreme Court has also chronicled the heroic attempt made by Nirbhaya to identify her attackers even as she lay down there dying. So this are the killers here. So they were bus drivers, attendants, cleaners. One of them was a fruit seller. Then the next news is Shopian siege sparks protests in Valley. So this is regarding the Kashmir Valley incident here in Shopian region in South Kashmir. The security forces have conducted an 8-hour dominance exercise which has further antagonized the population and the students here. So here the incident took place after Nazir Sheikh was killed by militants while he was ferrying soldiers into his private vehicle. So this is again the situation deteriorating in Kashmir Valley here. Next is Center notifies draft no-fly rules. So after we saw an incident in which the Shiv Sena MP was involved here, Mr. Ravindra Gaikwad. So he was banned by all domestic airlines for his alleged manhandling of an Air India staffer in March 2017. So after that, the 2-week ban actually was withdrawn by the airlines, Air India. But then government had stated that they would take action. A directive has now come forth. So the government has come up with this draft civil aviation requirements on handling of unruly or disruptive passengers. So this is a draft. Once finalized, it's open for public comments. Once finalized, it would be put into effect. So these proposed guidelines, they are allowing domestic airlines to ban unruly passengers for a period ranging from 3 months to lifetime. So depending on what kind of action has been done. So 3 months for disruptive behavior such as physical gesture, 6 months for physical abusive behavior, and 2 years or more up to lifetime for if they are conducting a life-threatening behavior is visible, or if they have damage to the aircraft systems. So this is there. Also, this decision has to be taken by an internal committee which would be set up consisting of a retired district and sessions judge, even a representative from a different airline and a representative of Passengers Association or Consumer Forum. So this will be the internal committee which will look into the matter, and it has to take the decision on the level of the ban to be imposed by the airline, and this decision has to be taken within 10 days of receiving a complaint. So this internal committee will be there. Also an appellate committee has been provided in this draft regulations. So this appellate committee will comprise of a retired High Court judge, representative of Consumer Forum and high-level airline executive too. So they will look into appeals by the passengers if any. Also the government has said that they would have a national no-fly list to put individuals identified as national security threat on this list. So this is there. Then next is set up database of children in orphanages. Supreme Court tells government. So this is the Supreme Court passing directions that a database of children living in orphanages and childcare institutions should be there to ensure their safety and welfare, and also anonymity should be maintained. Means confidentiality and privacy of this database has to be ensured. So this order has come from the Supreme Court on a PIL petition which was filed based on a 2007 newspaper report that orphanages in Tamil Nadu here in Mahabalipuram run by NGOs and even government institutions are involved in systematic sexual abuse of children. So this is the case on which hearing is taking place. So center, states and union territories all have been directed by the Supreme Court to complete the registration of all childcare institutions by the end of 2017. So this is there. Database has to be provided also, and alternative options like adoption or foster care should be seriously considered for these children. So this is the order coming forth from the Supreme Court. Also, it has said that states and union territories should set up inspection committees before July 31 to conduct regular inspections of childcare institutions and prepare reports of such inspections. So this is also mandated now. Also, there is a State Commission for Protection of Child Rights. There is a National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So it has also, Supreme Court has stated that the vacancies in these state commissions have to be filled by the end of 2017. Also, it has said that an individual child care plan has to be prepared as such by the institutions, and these should be done before the end of 2017. So this is the order coming forth. Then also another point put forth is that social audit has to be conducted by National Commission for Protection of Child Rights and state commissions also. So these commissions have been set up under the Protection of Child Rights Act of 2005. So these are statutory bodies to ensure that all the laws, policies, programs with respect to child rights are upheld under the Indian Constitution too, and also that UN is a signatory to UN Convention on Rights of Children. So here child is under this is defined as a child up to 18 years of age. So 0 to 18 years of age is considered child under this law. The next is grenade found in well at the Red Fort in Delhi. So this is a grenade which has been discovered while cleaning was taking place in the Red Fort in a well. So the NSG, a robo was deployed by the NSG, National Security Guard, and this grenade was removed. But then 3 months ago, 2 arms cache was found in the premises of Red Fort. So now security has been put on alert to her. They are also further scanning for any more explosives in the vicinity. Then next is workers start cooperatives to revive tea gardens. So this is Bandapani Tea Garden in West Bengal. So a unique initiative has been taken here. This tea garden was closed since 2013. So this tea garden has now been revived through cooperative. So a cooperative society has been formed by the workers. So in tea gardens, what happens is workers also stay within the premises in these tea gardens. So presently, since they are out of work, the tea gardens have been closed by the owners. They do not have any work and they are staying in dire conditions here. There have been many deaths also, starvation deaths, which have been reported from such tea gardens in this region too, and even beyond. So northeast West Bengal, there are these tea gardens in Assam, etc. So here this step has been taken that they have formed a cooperative so that they can function on their own, they can revive the tea garden. But then one issue which has been put forth is that the cooperatives have been found, they have been registered, the government has accepted their registration, so they have achieved that. But then the land is still belonging to the state government and land has been leased to the tea garden estate owners. So earlier to such incident had taken place. So this was the Sonali Tea Estate in Jalpaiguri district. So in 1974, similar initiative was taken by them too. Since the tea garden was closed by the owners, they formed a cooperative and run it. But they were running it for 4 years it ran. But after that, they were forced to give up because the owners moved the court and they said that the workers were not legally running because the estate, because the land is with them. So land lease is with the estate owners. So that is why they could not function. So in this case also now they have said this Bandapani Tea Garden Cooperative, which has just been formed, they have said that we have asked the government to even transfer the lease of the land in our name. So we'll see what will be the step taken as such too. Also there is another such tea estate run by cooperative format, that is in Tripura. This is Durgabari Tea Estate in Tripura. So it is also having a similar workers cooperative which is running them. So this present Bandapani Tea Garden was inspired by this Tripura cooperative. So this is the news. So here even in various sectors in economy, sectoral functioning is also important. You should know what are the problems in the tea estates. They are not viable. The tea estate owners have left them, but the workers issue still remains because they are dependent on these tea estates work. Even the workers here are alleging that the last private owner of the garden usurped their wages. They did not pay their wages, provident fund, gratuity, even bonus before closing the garden. So this is the state of the workers here. So cooperative societies, what are they? They are voluntary associations. They are formed with a common economic objective. So with the support and mutual help of each other, the members run these cooperatives. So generally it's for not for profit motive. So individual pool their resources for the group's welfare. So here you can see the constitution has also been amended. So 97th Amendment Act of 2011 has constitutionally provided for functioning of cooperatives. Earlier they were mentioned in the directive principle of state policy specifically. So Article 43B of Part 4 still mentions that promotion of cooperative societies should be undertaken by the state, voluntary formation. And part 3, of course, gives you right to freedom of association. So here that part is also there. But then now part 9b has been added into the constitution by 97th Amendment Act 2011, specifically providing for the provisions for cooperative societies. So various provisions for them, the incorporation of the cooperative societies, the board structure, how election of members should be there, are all provided for in this part 9b of the constitution since 2011. It came into effect from 2012. The next is entire Assam declared disturbed. So center has declared the entire state of Assam as disturbed under Armed Forces Special Powers Act. So this has been extended, disturbed area status has been extended for 3 more months now. So this is in response to the violent activities of insurgent groups like Alpha, United Liberation Front of Assam, NDFB, National Democratic Front of Bodoland. So these are insurgent groups active in Assam. So in response to this, AFSPA has been extended here to the entire state. So there have been 75 incidents of violence in Assam in 2016, in which 33 people were killed. So AFSPA, the controversial act introduced in 1958. So this has been in force in Manipur since 1980. We also know about Irom Sharmila, who went on a hunger strike, which she gave up last year and contested elections but could not win. So here AFSPA has been extended to Assam too now. So AFSPA, the most controversial provision here is that the prosecution of proceedings against the personnel, armed personnel, even for action committed while exercising powers under AFSPA, cannot take place except through the center's nod. If center approves, only then prosecution can take place against these armed personnel. So here they have been given powers under the AFSPA to arrest suspicious people without warrant. They can fire or use force against a person even to the extent of causing death if they are having such, if they are having such indication that the person is involved in such suspicious activity. They can conduct searches without warrant. So there's a huge amount of power given to the armed forces under this act to regulate and to tackle insurgency in such disturbed areas. But of course, then there are many cases of human rights violation, cases of rape, against these armed personnel in such areas. The next is forest reserves hit all-time high of $373 billion. So the country's foreign exchange reserves is at all-time high right now. So this is as per the data released by RBI. The forex reserve, foreign exchange which we have, it is in 4 different aspects in which we have this reserve. So one is foreign currency assets, which is a major chunk, more than 75%. Then next is gold reserve, which we have. And third is special drawing rights. And fourth is reserve tranche in IMF. So the special drawing rights is also with respect to IMF, in International Monetary Fund. So what is SDR? You should know about it. So here we will see presently. So this you can see the inflows of both debt and equity has increased. So this increase because of foreign investors has appreciated rupee too, which we have discussed in news presently. So there's been 6% appreciation of rupee against the dollars in 2017. So India has become one of the best performing economy in Asia presently in terms of the currency. Also, RBI had changed its monetary policy stance. So it is now the Monetary Policy Committee. So the Monetary Policy Committee had stated that our stance has changed now from accommodative to neutral. So this was also looking into the inflation concerns. So means what does this specifically mean is that Monetary Policy Committee decides the repo rate. So now the repo rate would be decided depending on the situation. So earlier repo rate was reduced to give a boost to the economy. So interest rate reduced. So repo rate reduced will have a consequence on the interest rates which banks have. So RBI reducing repo rate has this domino effect, you can say. So this actually, the repo rate, if it's reduced, means boost to economy, means it is an accommodative monetary policy, and neutral monetary policy means that we'll decide whether the repo rate should be increased, decreased, or should remain the same. We'll decide that. So our stance now is neutral. We are not inclined in any one direction. So that was what RBI had stated earlier. So this you can see, so the forex reserve has increased, and what are these SDRs? We'll look at that too. So these special drawing rights are what is the creation of the IMF. So International Monetary Fund created them, which was in 1969. So this is the SDR, which is decided based on these hard currencies. So the currency basket based on which as SDR value is decided is US currency, dollar, UK pound, euro of EU, Japanese yen, and Chinese yuan has also been added in 2016. So this, its currency yuan of China is also known as renminbi. So that is the term. So this was added into the exclusive SDR club in September 2016. So these SDRs are owned by the government and international organizations only. They are not like normal currencies which can be traded, and they are considered part of the forex reserves. So this is there. So IMF manages them. So this I use as international reserve asset only. So that's their function. So you have an asset, the amount of money which you provide to the IMF. So it's converted into SDR, which is the amount which you hold and which is part of forex. Next is novel molecule to treat cancer. So this is a molecule which has been designed and synthesized by Indian researchers from IISc Bangalore, and this molecule is called Disarib. So these have been after years of research that this has been found. So this Disarib molecule which has been formulated, this can bind itself to a protein called BCL2. So this BCL2, what is this protein? This protein is produced in excess in cancer cells. So this BCL2 protein, when it is produced in excess, it results in providing the cancer cells longevity. So what happens is that in any cell, normally a cell will have a balance between proteins that promote cell death and suppress cell death. So cells have to be, after their life term is over, they have to die too. So that is called apoptosis. So apoptosis means cell death promotion. So these proteins are balanced, proteins which promote and suppress cell death. But what happens is that in cancer cells, this BCL2 protein is produced in excess. So because of that, what happens is cell death is delayed. So that is why if this new molecule which has been developed, Disarib, if it binds to BCL2 protein, then cell death cannot be suppressed and cancer cells can be eliminated. And since BCL2 protein is not produced in excess in normal cells, this Disarib will not affect the normal cells. So this is the research which has been done, and this molecule developed by a team of researchers in IISc Bangalore, headed by Mr. Raghavan. So this Disarib now will be provided for approval, and animals testing has already been done. Only one drawback which is there for this is that this cannot function against all kinds of cancers, because in some cancers cells these BCL2 expression is low. So these are like breast cancer, CML, that is leukemia, cervical cancer, this BCL2 is low. But in other forms of cancer like breast cancer, ovarian cancer, this breast adenocarcinoma, so another form of breast cancer, and lymphoma, this BCL2 expression is high and it will be beneficial there. There is already another BCL2 inhibitor molecule, that is ABT199, which is approved by FDA of USA. So this actually has side effects too. But the Disarib which has been developed by IISc researchers, that has no side effects as such, and also it has better efficiency in killing cancer cells. So this is the research presently being done. So it has been tested on animals, and now its toxicity and efficacy will be tested on molecules in cancer cells taken from patients also. Next is the last one. Researchers develop synthetic soft retina. So these researchers from University of Oxford in UK have developed a synthetic soft tissue retina which can mimic the retinal functioning in the eye. So this has been developed. So this can be used in retinitis pigmentosa, which is a condition in which the eyesight is slowly lost because of the retina not responding to light conditions. So this is actually the disease for which this soft tissue can be beneficial. So here it is very important that when it is concerning the eye, something hard cannot be used. So this synthetic soft tissue has been developed, and which is designed like a camera. So it has these biological cell membrane proteins on these soft water droplets, synthetic hydrogels. So these cell membranes act as pixels, the way a camera functions. So they detect and react to light and create a grayscale image, and they generate electric signals which stimulate the neurons at the back of the eye like an original retina. So this is the development which has been done by the researchers here. So these are the news items. Thank you.